Hi friends, I wanted to give you an update on our week in DC, the week of January 12th, and I'm trying to give it to you in 2 minutes. We'll see how we do. Monday was a fly-in day. Tuesday we had caucus meetings, Democratic Caucus, CPC, CHC, had committee hearings, oversight hearing for Natural Resources Committee, Energy and Minerals Resources Subcommittee, which is the one I'm on, the Marine Fisheries Habitat Protection Act, Education and Workforce hearing on child care crisis in America. We had some meetings with ACLU, American Library Association, and an interview with CNN. Votes. We had more bills this week that do nothing to lower costs and actually hurt American workers. HR 2262 is the Flexibility for Workers Education Act that would allow employers to have employees do training after hours but not pay them overtime. HR 2270, Empowering Employer, Child, and Elder Care Solutions Act, allowing employers to pay their workers less overtime than they are rightfully owed. And HR 2312, the Tipped Employee Protection Act, the definition of a tipped employee would change and who can be paid a reduced minimum wage would be expanded, which will hurt workers. And the Shower Act, I told you about that one last week. It lowers cost savings like water saving efficiency standards, which doesn't make sense. I spoke on the House floor in support of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act against cuts to the Department of Education. Sorry, I'm at the airport. Wednesday, weekly WIP meetings. I had committee meetings, a natural resources oversight hearing on implementation of the Compact of Free Association Amendments Act of 2024, which is very important, and education and workforce on building an AI-ready America. We had meetings with representatives from the Phoenix International Raceway, the White Mountain Apache Tribe, and a shadow hearing on lowering housing costs hosted by Representative Ansari. We voted on HR 2988, Protect Prudent Investment of Retirement Savings Act. I oppose this bill because it weakens protections for workers and retirement savings. On Thursday, I had a Democratic Women's Caucus meeting with the Wilderness Society. We voted on HR 4366, Save Local Businesses Act. I oppose this bill because it lets corporations evade responsibility for labor law violations, weakens worker standards protections, and as subcontracting expands, it makes it harder to stop unsafe workplace child labor. And then I traveled to Minneapolis on Thursday, and that was really to talk about what's happening there on the ground with ICE. I had dinner, a briefing with local advocates for immigrants' rights and people in Minnesota that are feeling very targeted. And then we had a field hearing on Trump's assault on the city of Minneapolis with 28 members of Congress present, along with Governor Walz, and we had so many electeds there. We had a press conference there, and now I'm traveling back home to Tucson, and I'll see you in district tomorrow.